Hi, this is Elise with Coaching to Thrive. I am going to be putting together a series of videos related to trauma. So, why? Well, a lot of areas of life, in fact, I'd probably say pretty much all areas of life, can potentially have some level of trauma for us in it. When I think about my own life and areas that I've experienced trauma in, whether it's from a thought or from a feeling or from some form of action, trauma has existed in my life since I was a very small child. So, as I do this series of videos related to trauma, we're going to talk about it. We're going to explore it a little bit. And what trauma is, what it means to us, and what we can do to work through trauma and come out on the other side so that we can grow and thrive. So like I said, I'm Elise with Coaching to Thrive. I am a certified coaching specialist, trained in coaching in general, as well as having specialties as a master practitioner for the Energy Leadership Index assessment, as well as specialties in transitions and leadership. What that means is that if you are dealing with trauma and you are looking for hope and you are looking for help and support, I am able to walk my clients through figuring out what their goals are with overcoming trauma and how they want to get there. So what you can do is in my description below for the videos will be a link to set up a 30-minute complimentary session so that we can see between us whether or not I am the right fit for you in order to help you. Having said that, let's talk about trauma. Trauma, what is it? Well, trauma is any type of event where you have experienced some type of stress, some type of pain, some type of anxiety, some type of worry, some type of mental, emotional, or physical action that impacts you in a way that leaves behind it a leftover engagement inside of you that says, this is still with me and I can't let go of it. It's a trauma. I'm going to use 9/11 as an example of a societal and personal trauma that a lot of people are still dealing with today, myself included. The morning of 9/11 was a normal day for me. I got up, I had breakfast, I made my son breakfast. I had he was about 10 at the time. And we had breakfast and we went on about our day, and my husband called me on the phone and told me to go turn on the television to the news. So that's what I did. And what I stood there seeing was the first tower with a great big hole in it, smoking. And then I literally watched on a live cam the second tower be hit by the plane. So I watched a lot of wonderful, special people die on live news. And that left me with a huge trauma. I then watched the coverage continuing on through the day and the days after that as the towers came down and as the rescue workers went in looking for survivors. Many, many, many of us went through a huge trauma. Both the people that were there and went through it directly, and those of us who watched it on live TV as we watched, feeling helpless and worried about what was coming next when we realized it was a terrorist act. So even as I shared my experience, what were you feeling on the inside? Because I know, just talking about it even after all of these years, my heart started racing and I felt a heaviness inside. I felt an incredible amount of sadness and grief. That is all trauma. We experience all kinds of trauma in all different kinds of ways across all different kinds of areas of our lives, and it's real. Whether it's a thought trauma, an emotional trauma, a physical trauma, whatever it is, it's real. And so what I'm going to be doing through the videos with this series is exploring trauma and giving some tips and some suggestions and ideas on how to work through that trauma. All of the time realizing that in a lot of instances, when the trauma is heavy enough, the person that needs to be spoken to first for many of us is a counselor or a therapist. I don't live in that space. I am a coach. What I do is work with people who have already worked through the bulk of the historical impact of the trauma, and they're now ready to be present today and move forward to figure out how to make positive steps forward in overcoming the leftover impact from the trauma so that they can come out on the other side growing and thriving and feeling great about where they're at in their life. So that when they look back at what was a hot button for them, they remember it in the historical context, but they're no longer tied to it or bound by it. They're able to move forward successfully so that they really are growing and thriving. As a coach, that's what I can do. I can help people get to that point, figure out those things for themselves, set goals, and figure out what they want to do to accomplish it. But in the short term, through these videos, I can help people in general identify trauma, figure out what that means to them, what they might need, whether it is talking to a counselor or a therapist, or if they're past that part and they're really ready to just work on the portion of it where they're moving forward so that they can grow and thrive. So that's what this series is going to be all about. I hope that as you watch it, if you're blessed by it, if it helps you, that you give it a thumbs up for liking it. If you know other people that would benefit from it, that you would share it forward. And that if you want to participate in the ongoing series for that and get content as I release it, that you would also subscribe to the channel. Have a super day, have a super weekend, and take care of yourself and treat yourself kindly.